Dianne Feinstein, remember? She's out for what was it, like a couple months or something? How long was she out for? And then she's like, I was here the whole time. I absolutely despise these people. Mitch McConnell, we can talk about his politics all day and night. And I'll tell you, I don't like he does this, I don't like he does that. But there is nothing that gives me more disdain for this man than this medical episode. I have no sympathy, no empathy for his freeze up, for his stroke or seizure, because he is gripping on to a leadership position that a younger person needs to have to help this country, and he's incapable of doing it. But it's not just him. It is a problem in this country and all of Congress where they're all, it's just, and look at who was running for president. We're going to have Biden versus Trump. I think Trump's better than Biden, but even Trump is older. This is one of the big reasons we were saying DeSantis is probably better, is that he's a lot younger. Unfortunately, however, I don't think DeSantis is going to be able to pull it off because he can't seem to get a hold of his campaign.
Well,
these people need to leave.
Youth in and of itself, I think, is not the key. But to your point, I think, if you're very to the point of having strokes and you need medical leave, you should take care of your health and not be trying to lead the country in this case. But I think it's not just youth, it's wisdom. And I think there's a crisis of wisdom. And that's where we have a lot of failed. Even young leaders are terrible. So it's not like just because you're young, you're better. If you're young, you could be even more foolish.
McConnell doesn't seem to have any real wisdom about him either.
That could be true. I will not argue with that. I mean, I think he has done some good things in his career, but I do think I agree with you. We need fresh, not just fresh leadership. We need good leadership.
Healthy brains, man. Less calcified. I don't know if it's calcified pineal gland, but less aspartame in people's diets, less high fructose corn syrup, corroding the neural network.
Look, someone pointed this out on Twitter. Any job in this country, you are 81 years old and suffer a seizure, they would say, look, it's time you go home, right? This is not the job for you. In fact, can he even be driving anymore? I'm not trying to rag on older people, but there is a point at which you are too young for a job and too old for a job. We're not going to put 12-year-olds in the coal mines. We should be putting 81-year-olds in Congress.
Do you think we should do age limits now?
It is a tough question because of the rate of technology. It should be more about capability.
I agree with that. I think if you're struggling with serious medical conditions, just like as you described from work, you could take a leave. Yeah.
So would it be Congress that votes to have the other congressman removed if there's a medical thing?
I would love it right now if Congress voted to the Senate voted to remove Mitch McConnell.
It's almost an imperative. We're missing a Kentucky representative right now. Or
Feinstein should be out, and McConnell should be out, and
it's tricky when
Pelosi
when they've been democratically elected, right? That is tricky. Back to what you were talking about earlier, Tim. If we got into a system where we get to just out people because we consider them physically unfit, but they were democratically elected, it gets into
but you can. We remove people from Congress all the time, or not all the time. It's happened a couple times. Mm-hmm. You vote to send someone home. I wonder if Vivek Ramaswamy, he had a couple proposals. One, publicly, he said there should be a civics test in order to vote. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that makes sense. What I really like is you have to sign up for the selective service if you want to vote. If you sign up for the selective service, you get a voter ID. And if you have that, you're allowed to vote. And so I think that will solve a great deal of our problems overnight.
Vivek actually clarified on the show last week. He thinks when you turn 18, you don't have voting rights till you're 25 unless you pass a civics test or do 6 months of community service or military service. So it's either or.
I like the civics test.
Do you or don't?
I disagree.
So you don't like the civics test?
I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it necessarily solves the problem. See, the thing is about signing up for the selective service is you're basically saying I'm willing to die for this country. And guess what? It's a very simple sign on the dotted line that no Democrat would be able to convince a run-of-the-mill urban liberal to sign. But every conservative would be like, I love this country. Put my name down. However, a lot of people are going to say, I wouldn't sign up for that. This country is corrupt. No. If the voting base is just comprised of people who have pledged their lives to this country, you are not going to have these corrupt people because they can't get elected.
Yeah, but what if some crazy president was like, oh, now all you voters signed up for the selective service, we're going to war.
Because they vote. Because it's only those people who get to vote. So when the president comes in and says, I'm initiating the draft, it's those people who say, recall, impeachment.
Anything that like shrinks the number of ignorant votes, I'm for. So limit voting like in any way possible, in my opinion.